The spaceship hovered silently above Earth, its silver body glowing faintly in the pale moonlight. Inside, the aliens moved with careful precision. Their skin shimmered softly and their eyes glowed like distant stars. Among them, a young alien named Zira peered out through the viewing window. Her heart beat faster than usual. She had been observing Earth for months, but tonight something felt wrong. "Captain," Zira said, turning to the tall, dark-skinned alien at the control panel. "I see children outside. They are alone, and someone is near them." Vorak, the captain, glanced at her, his glowing eyes narrowing. "Children? Humans?" he asked calmly. "Zira, humans are fragile, yes, but why worry? Our mission is to observe, not interfere." Zira shook her head, a shiver running down her spine. "It's different this time. Something is wrong. I see shadows moving quickly near them. They do not belong to the children. Someone or something is taking them." Vorak's expression hardened. "Taking them? Are you sure? Show me." Zira guided him to the viewing screen. A flicker of movement passed among the trees below. Two strange figures, masked and fast, grabbed the children. A flash of light made the children vanish in an instant. Vorak's eyes glowed brighter. "Indeed, this is no ordinary human activity. Someone has abducted them. We cannot delay, but we must be careful. The energy traces they left are unstable. One wrong move could alert them." Zira's hands trembled as she gripped the edge of the control panel. "Captain, they are just children. They cannot defend themselves." "We have to act fast." Vorak turned toward her, his voice calm but serious. "Zira, panic will not help. Watch and learn. We must follow them carefully. If we rush, the abductors may hide them forever. We cannot let that happen either." The spaceship moved silently over the forest. Below, the trees swayed gently, but the night air felt heavy with danger. Zira stared at the location of the children, her mind racing. She could feel the fear in her chest, but also a strange determination. She would not let the children be harmed. Suddenly, the ship's alarm blared. Red lights flashed across the cabin. Vorak's eyes widened. "Alert! Someone is tracking our ship. They are closer than we thought." Zira's stomach twisted. "Could it be the abductors?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Perhaps," Vorak said, his jaw tight. "Or someone more dangerous. Stay calm, Zira. Observe everything." The ship's engines hummed softly as they followed the glowing traces left by the abductors. Zira felt a mix of fear and excitement. Every second counted. The children's small faces flashed in her mind, their wide eyes, their tiny hands reaching out for help. Suddenly, the trail led them to a strange circular field, glowing faintly in the forest. The children were inside. Zira gasped. "Captain, they trapped the children inside a force field." How? Vorak studied the field carefully. "It is advanced technology. Someone knew exactly how to avoid detection. But it does not matter. We will save them, Zira. We must plan our move carefully." Zira nodded, feeling her heart pound. She watched the children huddle together, frightened, trying to hold on to each other. The scene tugged at her emotions. She wanted to jump in and save them, but she remembered Vorak's warning. Humans are fragile, but their minds are unpredictable. One mistake could trigger chaos. The captain placed a hand on her shoulder. "Zira, patience is key. Watch carefully. Learn. Wait for the right moment." Zira swallowed hard and tightened her grip on the controls. She felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her. The lives of these children rested in her hands, and failure was not an option. Above the force field, the ship hovered silently, waiting. The night was still, only the soft hum of the engines filling the air. Every second felt like a lifetime. Zira whispered to herself, "We cannot fail. Not tonight. Not ever." Somewhere deep inside, a quiet voice told her, "You are their only hope. Protect them at all costs." The tension was unbearable. The children were trapped, the abductors were unseen, and danger was closer than anyone could imagine. Zira's eyes glowed with determination. She would not let anything harm them. The mission had just begun, and the real challenge was yet to come. The ship hovered above the glowing forest, the first step in a dangerous journey that would test every skill, every thought, and every heart. The spaceship floated silently above the glowing forest, its engines a soft hum against the night. Zira's eyes never left the force field below. The children huddled together, their small faces pale with fear. Something about the energy around the field made her skin tingle. She felt uneasy, as if the forest itself were watching. Captain, Zyra whispered. I think there is more than one group here. The energy patterns are unusual. Someone is hiding. Vorak moved closer to the control panel, analyzing the readings. His tall figure cast a shadow over the glowing screens. You're right, Zyra, he said quietly. The force field is just a trap. They want us to see the children. Whoever did this is watching us too. Zyra's heart pounded. Then we must be careful. I don't want the children to get hurt again. Vorak nodded, his glowing eyes scanning the forest below. Yes, we must be clever. Observe first, then act. Rushing now will be our biggest mistake. The aliens adjusted their sensors, zooming in on the field. Zyra noticed faint shadows moving behind the trees, always just out of reach. She leaned closer to the viewing screen, trying to make out the shapes. Captain, they are not human, she said, her voice tight with tension. Their forms are strange. Like energy is flowing through them. Vorak's jaw tightened. It seems they are using the children as bait. That is why they trapped them in a visible field. Whoever these creatures are, they want to lure us out. Zyra felt a cold shiver. Bait, but why children? Why humans? Their motives are unknown, Vorak said grimly. But one thing is clear, we cannot ignore it. Humans are weak, yes, but their minds can cause chaos. We must act before someone uses them in ways we cannot predict. As the ship hovered, a sudden rustling came from below. A tree branch snapped sharply and Zyra's head jerked toward it. Two shadowy figures darted between the trees. They moved with speed, almost too fast to follow. The children cried out softly, sensing danger. Zyra clenched her fists. Captain! They are going to harm them. Vorak's voice was steady. Patience, Zyra. Watch and learn. Our sensors will guide us. They cannot hide from everything. The ship's scanners began to detect energy spikes around the forest. Each spike was small, but they formed a pattern. Zyra's eyes widened. Captain, they are surrounding the field. There is more than one force at work here. We might be walking into a trap. Vorak nodded, his expression serious. Exactly. That is why we must plan carefully. We cannot risk the children or ourselves without knowing all variables. We move only when we understand the full situation. Suddenly, a low, vibrating sound filled the cabin. Zyra turned toward the source. What is that? It's a warning, Vorak replied. Something is triggering an alert in their system. Whoever set this field, they are aware of our presence. They are testing us, Zyra. Every second counts. Zyra swallowed hard. Her claws gripped the edge of the control panel. Captain, I want to save them now. We cannot wait. Vorak's eyes softened slightly. I know, Zyra, but impulsive action can destroy everything. Watch closely. Observe their moves. That is the only way to succeed. The shadows below shifted again. This time, Zyra thought she saw one of the figures, tall, thin, and almost transparent, hover briefly above the ground. Its glowing eyes locked on the ship. Zyra's breath caught. The creature was unlike anything she had ever seen. Captain, it is coming closer. I think it knows we are here, she whispered. Vorak's expression darkened. Then we must be ready. We will wait, but prepare all defenses. If it strikes, we strike back with precision. Protecting the children comes first. The forest grew still as if holding its breath. Zyra's heart raced, but her mind sharpened. She adjusted the sensors, monitoring every movement below. She felt the weight of responsibility heavy on her shoulders. One wrong step and the children could vanish forever. Then in the blink of an eye, the energy spikes around the field surged. A wall of light shimmered and twisted, creating shapes in the air. The children screamed. Zyra's heart leapt into her throat. They are preparing something. Captain, she shouted. Vorak's voice was calm, though his eyes burned with determination. Yes, this is the hidden threat. But we are not powerless. Observe, adapt, and strike at the right moment. That is the key to saving them. Zyra nodded, her eyes fixed on the glowing field. The forest around it seemed alive with movement. Every shadow, every flicker of light hinted at danger. And somewhere in the dark, an unseen enemy waited, ready to challenge them. The night air was thick with tension. Zyra felt it deep inside her bones. The children's lives depended on their careful actions. She knew this was only the beginning. The hidden threat was real, and the real challenge was about to begin. The glowing forest below stretched endlessly, dark and quiet. The children remained trapped inside the shimmering force field, huddled together, their small hands clinging tightly to one another. Zyra's eyes never left them, her mind racing. The shadows she had seen before were still there, moving carefully as if testing her ship. The tension made her claws tighten around the console. "Captain," Zaira said, her voice low. "They are preparing something. The force field is changing. I can feel it. This is more dangerous than I thought." Vorak studied the field from the main control panel. His glowing eyes scanned the energy patterns. "You are right. Whoever set this trap is clever. They want us to make a mistake. One wrong move and the children could be lost forever." Zira's tail flicked nervously. "Then what do? We cannot just wait forever. The children..." Her voice trembled. "I can hear their cries. They are scared, Captain." Vorak placed a hand on her shoulder. "I know, that is why we must be smart. Impulse will destroy everything. But I have a plan. It is risky, and it may fail, but it is the only chance we have." Zira's ears twitched. "What plan?" she asked, her heart racing. Vorak tapped the console. The ship's sensors began to focus on the force field, mapping every energy wave and shadow movement. "We will create a distraction. I will send a small probe into the forest. It will appear as if we are retreating. The creatures watching the field will think we are afraid. Then when their attention is on the probe, we will move closer and deactivate the field." Zira's eyes widened. "That sounds dangerous. The children could get hurt if it fails." Vorak's voice was steady. "Yes, that is why we must be precise. Zaira, you will guide the probe. Follow my instructions exactly. One wrong step and the plan is over." Zira nodded, swallowing hard. She felt a mix of fear and determination. "I won't fail, Captain. I promise." The probe launched silently from the ship, its small lights flickering in the darkness. Zira maneuvered it carefully, sending it toward the edge of the forest. The shadows below moved instantly, reacting to the probe as Vorak had predicted. One of the strange glowing figures stepped out from behind a tree, curious. "It's working," Vorak whispered. "Keep it moving. Make them think we are retreating." Zaira guided the probe closer, her claws steady despite her racing heart. The creatures followed, leaving the force field lightly guarded. The children's small faces peered toward the trees, unaware of the danger slipping away. Vorak tapped a sequence on the control panel. "Now, Zira, send the deactivation pulse. Carefully, slowly." A wave of energy shot from the ship, spreading over the force field. The shimmering walls flickered. 1, 2, and then a third time. The field collapsed in a soft hum, disappearing completely. The children blinked, surprised, their eyes wide, but the moment of relief was short. A sudden loud roar echoed from the forest. The shadows that had been lured away turned back, their glowing forms larger and more threatening than Zira had ever imagined. They charged toward the children with speed that made Zaira's claws curl in fear. "Captain, they're coming back," Zira shouted. Vorak's eyes glowed fiercely. "Prepare the defense systems. We will protect them." The ship's shields lowered, sending a protective barrier over the children. The creatures collided with it, growling and twisting, unable to break through. The forest shook and the night seemed to scream. Zira's heart pounded. She could see the fear in the children's eyes, but she also saw hope, the hope that someone had come to save them. Vorak turned to Zira. "This is only the beginning. We have weakened them, but they will not give up easily. We must move fast and get the children out of here." Zira nodded, swallowing her fear. She guided the ship closer, ready to pick up the children. The shadows twisted and hissed, forming strange patterns in the air. It was clear they were not normal creatures. Something in their form suggested intelligence, strategy, and malice. The children, sensing the aliens' presence, cried out, their voices small but desperate. Zaira felt a surge of determination. She would not let anything harm them, not now. Not ever. The forest was alive with danger. The creatures pressed closer, their glowing eyes fixed on the ship. Zaira's mind raced. The plan had worked, but the real challenge had only begun. The dangerous part was not freeing the children. It was surviving what came next. Vorak's voice cut through her thoughts. "Zira, focus, stay calm. We will get them out. But we must act fast." The ship hovered just above the forest floor. Zira felt the tension squeeze her chest. The children's lives, the creatures' attacks, the unknown forces, they all collided in a moment of pure chaos. She took a deep breath, ready for the next step. The dangerous plan had worked, but the battle to save the children was far from over. The forest was alive with danger. Shadows twisted and moved around the children, their glowing eyes piercing the darkness. The air hummed with tension. Zyra's heart raced as she gripped the ship's controls tightly. The children huddled together, trembling, but she could see sparks of hope in their wide eyes. "Captain," Zyra whispered, her voice tight. "They are closing in. We cannot hold them off for long. We must act now." Vorak studied the forest below, his glowing eyes scanning every movement. "Yes, Zyra, the time for hesitation is over. We will begin the escape, but we must be careful. Any mistake now and the children are lost." Zyra nodded, swallowing hard. She felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her. The shadows lunged repeatedly, colliding with the ship's shields. Their glowing forms flickered and twisted, trying to find a weak point. The hum of the shields vibrated in the cabin, a reminder of the danger surrounding them. "Zyra," Vorak said calmly, "we will take them to the extraction point. It is a safe location hidden from these creatures. But getting there will not be easy. The forest is full of traps and they know the terrain better than we do." Zyra's claws tightened around the console. "I understand, Captain. I will guide us through carefully. We cannot let them catch us." With a sudden surge of energy, the ship descended lower into the forest, careful to avoid the thick trees. The children's eyes widened as they saw the massive ship descending, its silver hull glowing softly in the dark. Zyra opened the ramp and the children hesitated, afraid but sensing safety. "Come on," Zyra urged gently. "Get inside. We will protect you." One by one, the children scrambled up into the ship. Their small hands clutched the railing and their faces were pale with fear. Zyra could feel their trembling, but she also felt their trust. It was a heavy responsibility, and she accepted it fully. Just as the last child entered, a shadow lunged from the trees, faster than Zyra's eyes could follow. It collided with the ship's shields, causing a shockwave that rattled the cabin. The children screamed, clutching each other tightly. "Hold steady," Vorak shouted. "Keep shields active. Zyra, take evasive maneuvers." Zyra pushed the controls forward, the ship rising quickly above the trees. The shadows followed, twisting and writhing as if the forest itself were alive. They surged toward the ship, but the shields held firm. Zyra's heart pounded, her focus razor sharp. "Captain," she said, her voice tense. "They are coordinated. They know our movements. We cannot outrun them forever." Vorak's eyes glowed brighter. "Then we will outsmart them. Follow my instructions exactly." He guided Zyra through a series of maneuvers, weaving the ship in sharp, unpredictable patterns. The shadows crashed into each other, unable to follow the sudden changes. Sparks of energy burst around the ship as the creatures twisted in frustration. The children clung to each other, gasping with relief as the immediate danger lessened. Zyra could hear their soft whispers, full of wonder and fear. She felt a surge of determination. They were counting on her, and she would not fail. Suddenly, a flash of light appeared ahead. Zyra squinted. "Captain?" "What is that?" Vorak's jaw tightened. "The extraction point. We are almost there. But be ready. This could be a trap." The forest below began to shift in strange ways. Trees bent unnaturally and shadows twisted into shapes that seemed alive. Zyra's skin prickled with unease. "They are preparing another attack." "I can feel it." Vorak's voice was calm but firm. "Then we prepare ourselves. Keep shields active. Stay alert. And remember, our priority is the children. Nothing else matters." Zyra nodded. She felt every second stretch painfully as they approached the extraction point. The shadows lunged again, but Vorak's guidance and Zyra's skill kept them safe. Each movement was precise, each decision crucial. Finally, the extraction point appeared, a hidden clearing with energy barriers disguised among the trees. It glowed faintly, a safe haven in the dark forest. Zyra's heart leapt. "Captain, we made it. The children are safe for now." Vorak's eyes softened slightly as he watched the children. "Yes, Zyra, but the journey is not over. This is only the beginning. The hidden enemy is clever, and they will not give up so easily." Zyra swallowed hard, feeling a mix of relief and tension. The children's safety gave her hope, but she knew danger was still close. The shadows in the forest would strike again. And when they did, Zyra and Vorak had to be ready. The ship hovered over the extraction point, shields glowing, engines humming softly. The children huddled together, their eyes wide with fear and relief. Zyra's claws loosened slightly, but her focus never wavered. The escape had begun, but the real battle for their safety was far from over. The ship hovered quietly above the hidden clearing. The children were safe for now, But the forest below pulsed with unseen danger. Shadows twisted between the trees, moving faster than Zira's sensors could track. Every flicker of light made her claws tighten around the controls. "Captain," Zira whispered, her voice tense. "I have a bad feeling. The forest. It's too quiet. Something is coming." Vorak's glowing eyes scanned the energy patterns. "You are right. The quiet means they are planning an ambush." "We cannot relax yet," Zira's tail flicked nervously. "An ambush? But we are at the extraction point. It should be safe." Vorak's voice was calm but firm. "Nothing is ever safe in this forest. Whoever created the force field knew we would follow. They planned this." Suddenly, a sharp vibration ran through the ship. The children screamed, clutching each other tightly. Zira glanced down. Shadows surged from all directions, faster than she could follow. Glowing, twisted forms of the creatures lunged at the ship's shields. "Shields up. Evasive maneuvers!" Vorak shouted. Zira pushed the controls forward, weaving the ship in sharp patterns. The creatures twisted and collided with the shields, unable to break through. But there were too many. Sparks flew, and the air vibrated with energy. The children screamed, their small voices mixing with the hum of the engines. "Captain, there are too many of them!" "We cannot hold." Zira shouted, her heart racing. Vorak's jaw tightened. "Then we split their attention. Zira, prepare the distraction pods. Release them now." Zira pressed the release button, sending small, glowing pods into the forest. They floated in different directions, pulsing with light. The creatures darted toward the pods, distracted. Zira breathed a little easier, but she knew it was only temporary. The children watched in awe, their fear mixing with wonder. One small boy whispered, "They're saving us." "Aren't they?" Zira's heart ached. She wanted to comfort them, but she had no time. The ambush was not over. Vorak's voice cut through the cabin. "Zira, now is our chance. We move to the extraction path. Stay low, stay fast, and do not stop." The ship surged forward, skimming just above the forest floor. Shadows twisted and lunged, missing the ship by inches. Zira's claws were sore from holding the controls, but she focused on every movement, every flicker of light. The extraction path was close, but the forest seemed alive, shifting and twisting to block their way. "Captain, the trees. They're moving," Zira gasped. "Yes," Vorak said grimly. "They are using the forest itself. It is part of their ambush. Keep your focus. One wrong move and we could crash." The ship dipped and rose, dodging falling branches and shifting trees. Sparks flew as the shields absorbed collisions. The children screamed again, but Vorak's calm voice reassured them. "Hold tight. We are almost out." Zira glanced down and saw the extraction clearing ahead. Its faint glow was almost within reach. "Almost there. Just a little further," she urged. But then a massive shadow rose from the forest. It was larger than any creature they had seen. Its glowing eyes burned like fire, and its energy rippled through the air. Zira's stomach dropped. "Captain, what is that?" she shouted. Vorak's eyes narrowed. "The hidden enemy's leader. It has been waiting for us. We cannot let it block our path." The creature lunged, its body twisting and splitting into smaller forms. Zira swerved the ship sharply, avoiding its attacks. Sparks flew, shields groaned, and the children cried in fear. Zira's heart pounded, but she stayed focused. They had come too far to fail now. "Zira, we fight smart, not hard," Vorak said. "Use the path. Use the terrain. Distract it, confuse it, and do not let it touch the children." Zira nodded. She guided the ship with precision, dodging attacks while keeping the children safe. The extraction clearing was near, glowing faintly in the darkness. She could see freedom ahead, but the ambush was relentless. The ship surged forward, and Zira felt a mix of fear and determination. They had survived the traps, the shadows, and the ambush, but the forest was still alive and the enemy was cunning. The children's lives depended on their next move. The moment stretched, each second feeling like an hour. Zira's eyes glowed with focus. She would not let anything harm them. Not now. Not ever. The ambush had been unexpected, but the escape had only just begun. The forest was dark and alive with movement. Shadows twisted violently, and the massive creature from the ambush leader hovered in the clearing ahead. Its glowing eyes pierced the night, and its energy rippled like storm waves. Zira's claws dug into the controls as she gritted her teeth. The children huddled inside the ship, their small faces pale with fear. "Captain," Zira said, her voice trembling slightly. "It's bigger than we imagined. How can we get past it?" Vorak's jaw tightened. "We cannot fight it head-on. We need strategy. Zira, focus. Use the ship's energy pulses and the terrain. Distract it, confuse it, and protect the children at all costs. Zira nodded, swallowing hard. Her tail flicked nervously as she adjusted the controls. The ship's engines hummed and shields glowed brighter. Sparks from the forest shadows hit the shields but bounced off harmlessly. Suddenly, the creature lunged, its massive body twisted and split into smaller forms, trying to attack from multiple directions at once. Zira swerved sharply, dodging the first wave, then the second. The children screamed softly, clinging to each other, their small hands trembling. "Hold on," Zira shouted. "We can do this." Vorak's eyes glowed brightly. "Zira, now! Release the diversion drones." Zira pressed the release button. Small glowing drones shot out, spinning and floating in different directions. Each one pulsed with light, drawing the creature's attention. The shadows twisted toward them, leaving the path ahead momentarily clear. Zira felt a surge of hope. "It's working, Captain." "They are distracted." "Good," Vorak said. "Now move quickly. Take the children to the safe zone. Don't stop for anything." The ship surged forward, weaving carefully between the trees. Zira's claws ached from gripping the controls, but she did not let go. Sparks and flashes of energy flew around them as the creature attacked again. But the diversion drones kept it busy. One of the smaller shadows darted toward the ship's hull. Zira twisted sharply, avoiding it, and the shadow slammed into a tree, dissipating in a burst of light. "That was close," she muttered, her heart racing. The extraction clearing was almost in sight, glowing faintly through the dark trees. Zira could feel the tension rising. One wrong move and they would fall back into the enemy's grasp. She took a deep breath, steadying her nerves. "Zira," Vorak said, his voice firm. "We must finish this now. Full energy pulse, shields maximum. Protect the children while I guide the attack." Zira followed his instructions. The ship's shields blazed brightly, covering the children like a silver dome. She activated the energy pulse, sending a wave of light and power toward the creature. It roared, twisting violently, and some of its smaller forms dissipated into the air. The children gasped, staring wide-eyed at the glowing display. Zira's heart pounded. She knew the battle was far from over, but they had a chance now. The creature recovered quickly, its glowing eyes fixed on the ship. Zira swerved again, dodging a massive energy strike that shattered a tree nearby. Sparks rained down around the ship. The forest trembled with the force of the attacks. "We are almost there," Zira shouted, her voice full of determination. "Just a little more, Captain." Vorak's eyes burned with focus. "Zira, the final move. Use the gravity pulse. It will push the creature back and clear our path." Zira activated the pulse. A wave of force spread outward, shaking the trees and sending the creature sprawling backward. Its glowing forms twisted, unable to maintain focus, and for a moment it faltered. "Now," Vorak shouted. "Move to the safe zone." The ship surged forward at full speed. The children clung to each other, their faces full of awe and fear. The clearing glowed brighter as they entered, a shield of protection wrapping around them. The forest behind remained dark and threatening, but the immediate danger had passed. Zira exhaled, feeling the tension slowly drain from her body. The children were safe for now. She looked at Vorak. "We did it." "They're safe." Vorak nodded, his glowing eyes scanning the forest. "Yes, but the enemy is clever. They will not give up so easily. We must remain vigilant. This was only one battle." The children whispered softly to each other, still shaking but beginning to smile. Zira felt a warmth in her chest. She had faced danger, fear, and uncertainty, and had protected those who could not protect themselves. The forest was quiet now, the shadows retreating into darkness. Zira knew the journey was not over, but for the first time she felt hope. The escape had succeeded and the children were alive. But somewhere in the forest, unseen and patient, the enemy still waited. Zira's eyes glowed with determination. They would be ready for whatever came next. The final confrontation had been won for now, but the war for the children's safety was far from over. The ship hovered in the glowing clearing, engines humming softly. The children huddled together, their small hands still trembling, but the immediate danger had passed. Zira's claws loosened on the controls, though her tail flicked nervously. Every nerve in her body remained alert. The forest was alive, and she knew the enemy had not given up. Vorak's glowing eyes scanned the tree line. "They are hiding, waiting," he said quietly. "But for now we have time." Zira exhaled, looking down at the children. Their eyes were wide with awe and fear, but relief glimmered. "You're safe now," she whispered. "For tonight." One of the boys looked up at her, voice small but curious. "Will they come back?" Zira knelt slightly to meet his gaze. "They might," she admitted. "But we are ready, and together we will protect you." The children clung to each other, shivering from the adrenaline of the ambush, but a small smile flickered across their faces. They could sense the courage of their guardians, and hope started to replace the fear. Vorak's tail twitched as he surveyed the forest. "We need to move. Nightfall is coming, and the shadows will grow stronger. Staying in one place is dangerous." Zira nodded. She guided the ship slowly out of the clearing, scanning every flicker of light, every movement of the trees. The forest seemed calm, but she knew that stillness often came before the next storm. Suddenly, a faint glow appeared on the horizon. Zira tilted the ship slightly to see better. "Look," she said softly. "A safe zone. Energy shields? It's the extraction point. Just beyond that ridge." Vorak's eyes narrowed. "We must reach it quickly. The enemy will anticipate our path soon." The children leaned forward, faces pressed against the ship's protective dome. Excitement and fear mingled in their eyes. Zira felt a surge of determination. They had made it this far, and she would not let the forest take them now. The ship surged forward, engines humming louder as they approached the ridge. Shadows flitted at the edges of the trees, but the glowing extraction shields were near. Zira activated the ship's energy pulse to push away any lingering threats. Sparks flew around them as smaller shadow creatures scattered, unable to reach the ship. One last shadow darted from the tree line. Zira twisted the controls, narrowly avoiding it. The ship's shields flared brightly, sending the creature crashing into the ground below. The children gasped, gripping each other tightly. Vorak's calm voice reassured them. "We are almost there. Stay steady." Finally, the ship broke through the last line of trees and touched down safely within the energy shield. The clearing glowed warmly, and the forest beyond retreated into darkness. Zira let out a long breath, feeling the tension drain from her body. The children scrambled out, laughing and hugging each other in relief. Zira and Vorak watched them, pride and exhaustion etched into their features. "They are safe," Zira said quietly. "At least for now." Vorak's eyes glowed faintly. "This battle is over, but the forest is alive. The enemy still waits, watching, learning. We must remain vigilant." Zira nodded. Her claws relaxed, but she kept one hand on the controls, ready for anything. The children's safety had been won today, but the forest had taught her a lesson. Danger could strike at any moment, and courage alone would not always be enough. As the night deepened, the extraction clearing pulsed with protective light. The children huddled together, safe and warm for the first time in what felt like forever. Zira looked out at the dark forest, eyes glowing with resolve. She would protect them no matter the cost. Somewhere deep in the shadows, unseen eyes glimmered. A low, almost inaudible growl echoed through the forest. The enemy had retreated for now, but it would not rest. Zira knew that the forest, cunning and alive, would strike again. She adjusted the ship's shields and settled in for the night. The children slept soundly under her watch, and for this moment there was peace. But the battle for survival had only begun, and Zira, captain of the ship, protector of the children, would be ready when the shadows rose once more. The forest waited in silence, patient, alive, and ever hungry. Ending notes: children are safe, giving resolution. Forest enemy still alive, maintaining suspense for future adventures. Zira and Vorak survive, establishing them as strong, reliable guardians. Strong HFY sci-fi elements. Courage, strategy, alien environment, suspense, and protective heroism.